Welcome back to the 715 podcast, everybody. It's been a while. It's just Jackson and I for this one. We wanted to get out and kind of get back in the flow of things here before stuff kind of starts to shut down and we have the ominous online school and maybe more stricter guidelines that'll hit Wisconsin here with the big spike. But Jackson, why don't you want to talk a little bit about kind of what we want to touch on this podcast?
Yeah. We got there's a
Just
lot of
stuff.
I mean, for those who are listening to this, we're recording this probably a week or two before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Today is November 14th. And when this goes out, it'll probably be around 2 weeks from now. So just know that anything you're listening to, maybe it's a little outdated.
Yeah.
In terms of what's shut down and what's open. And because at our current status, school is closed after Thanksgiving until December 8th.
Yep. And that hit us like last night at like 6:30. So that hit us on the the Friday the 13th on like 6:30, and we found out that we'd have one more week before the Thanksgiving break where we would kind of be prepping for the online courses until like the first couple weeks of December. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be a little selfish here and say I'll be fine with it because I'm supposed to be going on a trip to Costa Rica here in a little bit. My passport just came today. I was really worried about that not coming, but it came, and I'll be going to Costa Rica on the 20th to the 27th, 1 week. It's my first time out of the country. I'm super stoked. Spanish-speaking country. I can use my Español Cinco finally, and I'm just super excited. But, with everything being shut down, I mean, did you watch Tony Evers' kind of press conference, if you will?
I didn't know.
On Order 94.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was reminded me of Order 66 from Star Wars. I'm like, geez, and he kind of looks like a Star Wars character, like but yeah, Order 94. I don't think it really has any legal stuff attached with it. It's just like, hey guys, if we don't do anything, there's going to be more people that are going to die from this. And some pretty serious stuff going on in our state right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate, and you hate to see it, especially after like 7 months of it, But vaccine is on the way, and I've heard it's like 90% effective. So
hopefully,
yeah, which make it. I mean, people are stoked about a 90% effective COVID vaccine, but we got a 99% death rate with COVID anyways. So it's like there's kind of a trade-off, but yeah, big stuff happening in 2020, and we only got 2 months left of it. So hopefully 2021 will turn around, and as always, I'll come out with my New Year's stories like I do every year with my LaCroix. And
nice.
Which I haven't done, by the way. I think I need to start doing those. I don't remember.
LaCroix stories?
Yeah, I think the last one I did was on Labor Day weekend.
Damn.
Which is I don't even know how long that is, like 3 months, 4 months.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'll have to do one in Costa Rica.
There you go.
First one out of the States with a LaCroix. But yeah, man, it's been weird.
It has, yeah. A lot of staying at home, and probably going to be a lot more of it in the future.
Yeah, and what sucks really is like you stay at home and then you sit on a computer all frickin' day, and that's just not ideal for a developing teenage brain.
Uh-huh.
And it just hurts to like see kids, because I think mental health. Oh Jesus, that was hard. Mental health right now is not the greatest. And,
no.
And they're saying that the ripple effect of quarantine and everything is just going to be so huge that we just need to kind of rally together around one another and make sure we keep each other okay.
Yeah.
Through this whole deal.
Yeah, and I think that's something that kind of came up in politics too. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of the election's over, so let's fight in unity.
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal of.
Yeah.
It's what everyone wants, but not what everyone wants to do, really.
Yeah. I mean, to talk about it and to, like, say you want it is one thing, but to go out and act that way and do things to make sure that stuff happens is a totally different thing. Mm-hmm. And it's much harder. Yeah. And you'll get judged by the people who are supposed to be in your corner and have the same views as you if you go out and try to unify with someone else who maybe doesn't share those kind of views. And I think especially with everybody who's writing their application papers and stuff like that, that's kind of one thing that's always kind of circled back around is how can we unify and include everybody and stuff like that. So But yeah, elections are finally over. We don't have to see any more ads. Don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff gets to be so much. And,
Uh-huh.
we'll see what happens with everything, and it's just like COVID too. Everything's up in the air, and nobody knows what's happening with it. So,
I mean, now that November 3rd date is over, I think that relieved a lot of stress off of everyone, really.
yeah, that big anticipation for everybody to go out and vote, and the voter turnout was actually insane.
Yeah.
What was it? 89% of eligible voters actually went out and voted.
That's a crazy high number.
And I think it was like 3 standard deviations away from like what the average is, which is like almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's like 0.01 or something like that percent of that possibility. But yeah.
So how did your voting go? How did you do it?
It was really cool. So I'll share a little background on kind of like the whole voting thing.
Yeah.
So what was it? It would have been 17 years ago. I was like 1. Or 8, it might have even been 18. I was a little baby, and my dad had me in his arms, and he voted over at a church kind of by our house. And so I went to the church finally and kind of like looked back at that. It got published in the Leader Telegram, I believe. So I got to go to the same church. I got to do my voting deal. I did it with my mom, though, because my dad had a Zoom call for a meeting, of course, at the time before school. But went and voted, accidentally stole one of the pens because I didn't know if I was supposed to keep it or not because of COVID and everything. But it was really smooth. I was surprised of how smooth it was. I went in. I had my voter ID that I got in the mail. Showed them that. They gave me my ballot, filled it out, sent it into the thing, saw the American flag, and was good to go, and got my sticker. And
there you go.
I actually put my sticker in my armpit, so then I could like flash people my armpit if they asked me if I voted. I was like, yeah. So it was cool. How about you? You got to vote too. I remember we talked to
Carol,
Dr. Carol,
yep.
About it. So how did your day go?
I did mine a lot differently. I did mine. I don't know if it was. I think it was right after the podcast, maybe like a day or two.
Okay.
I voted early.
Nice.
So they set up this slick thing near Volume 1, the store, where you just kind of drive up, and there were like 10 different tents. They direct you to one. They give you a clipboard and an envelope and a sheet to fill out, and then you fill it out and hand it to them on the way out. I'm pretty sure all of the votes that were counted there were counted as like mail-in.
Okay.
But yeah, it still got the job done.
Yeah.
My vote got counted.
Yeah, that's what's important, is making sure every vote counts. And I think it's really cool too that we got to experience this kind of election. I mean, this has been, like, I was just talking to my parents and my grandparents, like, this has been such a hyped up election, such an important election with the pandemic and the social justice that's going on and just everything. So it was cool. I got to go to school and I felt like a true U.S. citizen for the first time in a while, because like you did something that was really important, you felt, and it is important. So, but yeah, man, it was big day, and we'll see what happens with it all. I mean,
yeah, it's still not over.
Nope, it's not. There's a lot of stuff that needs to get worked out, and a lot of legal stuff that needs to be put through the courts. And
yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like when you look at the state's numbers and you're like, Wisconsin, like, whoa, that's like a couple million people voted. You're like, does my vote really count that much? But then you look at states like, what was it, Nevada, and there's a couple thousand off. Yeah, like that's when it's like, wow, that.
Yeah, at one point it was either Nevada or Arizona. I couldn't remember which one it was. It was within like 900 votes, and I'm like, that is insanely close. I mean, that's like one neighborhood really of like groups of houses that could add up to like 900 votes, and it's just crazy to think that could really turn an election around based on. But then it's always confused me, like our electoral system, and like they're supposed to be voting for one person based on how we voted, and like they really could, if they wanted to, just totally change. Yeah. Because I think in the last election they did. Texas had 2 electors that like changed who they voted for based on like the state. And it just there's a lot of confusing stuff when it comes to the election that I don't really get, and I don't know if it's that important to get, but it's comes back to the whole idea of like just trying to make sure that you know enough to make sure your vote gets counted, but if you don't really care, nobody's gonna sue you or make you feel bad if you don't really know how the Electoral College works.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but our friend Marco Ebling committed to the Electoral College. Did you see that?
No.
So he was trying to make a hype video, like they do for like sports. They make these like these. I don't even know. It's a hype video of like highlights and practices and stuff. And he has a T-shirt that just says Electoral College. And he said he's going to the Electoral College. So I thought that was super funny. But
nice.
Yeah.
Is that is he doing that as a TikTok deal?
Actually, he's been off of TikTok for a while. So
Wow.
I think his TikTok stuff is on the decline. But TikTok is just still right up there, man. I mean, I don't get how it's just because, most apps have like, especially apps like TikTok and, Vine had its days where it had to unfortunately just kind of disappear. But I don't know how TikTok is. I mean, it was Trump. Yeah, it was Trump who was going to ban TikTok and this and that. And it happened like 3 or 4 times where he was going to ban it and he never ended up banning it. So I don't know what's going to happen with TikTok, and I don't know what. I mean, it is a time waster.
Yeah.
You keep scrolling. Are you a big user?
I deleted it a while ago just because I was like, once I get on here, I'm spending too much time on here. So
that's exactly what I mean. I need to delete that app. It's terrible. You scroll for 10 minutes and you find one good video, and then you want to try to find one more good video, so you keep scrolling until you find like 5, because it never satisfies.
No.
And it's actually like chemically proven that a scroll releases dopamine in your brain. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And it's like each scroll you're like releasing a little bit of dopamine. If you can't find it, you got to keep scrolling.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. Like each because it's deliberately, it's not you scroll through it like Instagram where you can just keep flicking and you scroll once and you can see 10 posts all at once. It's you scroll or you flick once and it goes to the next one.
Yep.
It's like unveiling the curtain of what's next.
Yeah.
What's next.
And it's always changing too, and there's big trends of different kind of stuff that comes in and out, and the weird filters where like they like pause like halfway. You've seen that stuff. It's like I don't get why I'm on it so much either. That's the thing that really bothers me about TikTok, is that there's not much good that comes out of it. Like there's some different mindset stuff that's on there that I like to listen to. Gary Vee makes some good TikToks.
Nice. Yeah.
And there's a couple food ones, but like other than that, I'm not making like these recipes like left and right, and I'm not like doing these dances like all the time. And so I don't understand why I still have it. It's just a time waster, and I think, you know what, I'm gonna delete it right now.
All right.
I think I need to make the change. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna delete TikTok for good, because there's nothing good that comes out of it.
Now, what you have to be careful of is don't start going on Instagram Reels.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
And that's what I don't get either, is how I mean, are they owned by the same company?
Nope.
They're not. So how does that even work? Because they are TikToks.
It's the same thing Instagram did with their stories. That was Snapchat first, and then Instagram started doing that.
And Instagram's under Facebook, isn't it?
Yep.
We were talking about antitrust stuff and econ. Are you taking econ right now?
Yep.
So you kind of talked a little bit about like Facebook and Google and how powerful they are and how they need to break them up. I think that'd be a great idea. But then you get like a billion different apps.
Yeah.
And like, so now you're, instead of scrolling through like, because here's what my routine would be, is there's like Visco, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. And like, if I need to go and I'm getting like FOMO, where I'm like, oh geez, I haven't connected with my people for a while.
Yeah.
Let me see what's going on. I kind of like scroll through those 4 apps and like see
yeah.
what's going on, But if we break up Facebook, and then you got like Messenger that like breaks off and becomes its own company, and Instagram, and then you have like 8 different apps now that you got to scroll through. I feel like that's might even be worse. And I don't know how you break up a company like Google. I don't think you can. Idea. I don't think you can do it.
But hey, that's one of those political things that we don't need to know, really.
Yeah.
We're not that, like, that goes back to the Electoral College. Like,
yeah. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really affect me daily, where their ad revenue or whatever it is that makes them so powerful, where it like affects me on my daily life. So I mean, what was it? Something under Obama, like cyber control or something weird like that. That like, and everybody's like, for every Google search, you're gonna have to pay like 15 cents now and this. And did you ever hear about that?
No.
I think it might have been some conspiracy I might have heard. But yeah, there's just a bunch of weird stuff that could end up happening.
That's interesting that your 4 apps are different than mine. I usually...
Oh, you got different apps?
Yeah, Instagram and Snapchat are basically the classics.
Yeah.
And then I would I YouTube and then Reddit to be my other ones.
Yeah, I've never been on Reddit. I think
it's Instagram, but kind of more refined, because I don't know a lot about it. Like, there are a ton of menus that I've never opened up before.
And they're called menus. So is that like a different strand of like posts you can look at?
The things on the bottom.
Okay.
I know how to look at posts and I know how to post. I don't know any of the other.
So what do you post on a app like Reddit then?
It's a lot different than Instagram, because you don't really follow users. You follow, I think they're called communities.
Okay.
So for example, there's like a Pokemon card community, and you would join it, and there are people posting pictures of their collections or new ones they get, or I like it more than Instagram. Like, when I find a new hobby. Yeah. You go there and you will find a lot of people who already have that same hobby.
That's cool.
It allows you to find out about a lot of stuff.
Because I feel with like Instagram especially, is it gets pretty dry at times, and you can't really there's not much interaction that goes on. Yeah. Besides a picture and like a caption that says #SS when we're seeing a billion of those on Sunday. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like, okay, can I actually like talk? Because especially in today's world, where we can't go out and like meet up with people, or we don't see like everybody at like a school dance or like a pep rally or whatever, where you can like interact with somebody who shares a hobby with you. I feel like that's important. And it doesn't, especially virtually, it doesn't matter where they live anymore, because you can just connect with someone. So that is a cool app. And what was the other one? Oh, YouTube?
YouTube, yeah.
YouTube's in there with mine, but usually if I'm on YouTube, I'm not scrolling through it, and I'm on there for a while watching some videos, usually wrestling stuff or some Among Us stuff. I like the Among Us content. Yeah. What do you watch on YouTube? You watch Among Us?
Yeah, probably a lot of games, mostly. Yeah, people playing games. That it's usually background noise for whatever I'm doing. There's a lot of YouTube on for, I don't know, just to give another thing to listen to or another thing to watch.
Yeah, that's a great app too. But people think it's becoming too powerful with like, and you know about it too, with like their ads and stuff and like promotional stuff, and how kind of shady that can be at times. But it's just so hard to kind of, like, I would feel like one of the most difficult things to do would be to make like a new platform, or like like a YouTube or like a Spotify or SoundCloud or something like that. Yeah. To get the resources, and I think what the easiest thing would probably to be like run ads or something like that.
I mean, one of the things that a lot of people don't think about is the operating costs of services like that are so immense. Yeah. Because every time you see the little circle loading on your screen, it's pinging to a server back to your phone to show you an image. And it's loading a lot of stuff on there very quickly. Yeah. So to even run applications like that for that many users is probably millions and millions of dollars a day.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. The technology. We talked a little bit about that, didn't we? Just how crazy like technology's getting, and
I think so, yeah.
Just the leaps and bounds that like we've made in just like the past 10 years, and just to think of what's coming in the next 10.
Oh, and we talked about this a little bit before we started recording in regards to technology, but I was lucky enough to get a PlayStation 5 on launch day, which was 2 days ago.
And that is pretty scarce right now. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people who are like, a bunch of bots just took them. You know, that's what I've heard, is that like a Walmart and Target and Best Buy just had a bunch of bots that just scammed them out.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you my experience personally. Yeah. So I got to my computer, because I knew 11 p.m. was 12 p.m. Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know when they were releasing them, but if it was Eastern time, then it would be then. It would be midnight for them and 11 for us. So I sat down at my computer at about 10:30. I had 2 different live streams going from 2 different YouTubers who were refreshing stock. I had a couple tabs open on my computer and a lot of apps on my phone. And I was sitting there for about 2 hours. And at 12:42, the Target app went live with them.
That's such a weird time.
For pickup in Eau Claire. And it went, it didn't go through a couple times, but then it went through one of them. And
so you tried it on like a couple different apps and it didn't go through, and then it went through on like one of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So from what I can tell, it was out of stock in about 3 minutes in the Eau Claire location.
And you said there was probably 14?
From the stock checkers before that, there were about 14. Yeah.
Wow.
And those were the only local ones we had.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. And the Xbox is not as scarce, right? People can get their hands on the Xbox easier than the PS5.
I think it came out 2 days before.
Okay.
I think it was live longer on websites, but I don't think you could find them right now if you wanted to.
That's insane.
I think probably Black Friday will be the next time.
That's another kind of battle of the 2 big companies there, Xbox and PlayStation. I mean, imagine just trying to hop into that and, here's a new console.
I was pretty late to PlayStation because I grew up on the Wii, and the Switch was my big exciting.
I got a question for you on the Switch. I was in Best Buy the other day. Does it have like a remote, like an Xbox remote, kind of?
The Pro Controller. You
Maybe.
So the way the Switch works is there's a dock that connects to your TV, and it can sit there. And the Switch is a handheld console with 2 removable controllers.
Yeah.
And then with those 2 removable controllers, you can slide them into another thing, and it makes a real controller.
Okay.
So you can put the Switch in there. It goes on your TV. But there are these things called Switch Pro controllers, which are more expensive than they really should be.
Yeah.
I think they're about $70. But it's probably, I guess, my second favorite controller now after the new
Does it kind of look
one.
and feel like an Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hefty and it feels good. Yeah.
I think I saw that, and I had no idea they even had those.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Switch. I remember you brought the Switch on like the bus one time. Those are just so fun.
Yeah. No,
Those are
I've
the
always
best.
been a Nintendo guy, but there's a lot of stuff they don't deliver. That probably around the time I got a Switch, I got my PC. So I was hoping, but I'm not like a huge online multiplayer.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at shooting games. So then when it came to those big video game, powerful console experiences, PlayStation was where it's at for me.
Yeah.
With the Spider-Man games and all the single player stuff is usually what I'm up to.
Yeah, those are sweet. I was a Batman guy.
Nice.
That was really fun. I did it in like a month, and I just constantly played that game. Had the sickest Batmobile I've ever seen. Oh my god! But the PS5, how's it playing? So, what do you have on it right now on the PS5?
All of my PS4 games.
Okay.
Yeah. So
is it transferable?
Yep.
So, oh wow.
Yeah. So I bought a 5 terabyte external hard drive, threw all my PS4 games, which was that's overkill, but just in case.
Yeah.
You never know. I've filled
they try to scam you or something.
Yeah, I've filled up like a terabyte of it, but so all you do is take that from your PS4, then you can plug that in, and it works right away.
Wow.
Like immediately. And then for all your save data, I just plugged in 2 Ethernet cords and transferred it over. But yeah, it was super easy.
Nice.
And I think the biggest surprise for me when I got it is huge. It is heavy. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
like compared to the PS4, it's just like a brick.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how much it weighs, but it's like if you picked it up with one hand, you would have some difficulty picking it up. But when I opened it, I was like, this is basically a PC. Like,
is it? Okay.
So this PC over here, you guys can't see it on the camera. You can't see it if you're listening to this podcast, but it's probably about as tall as that and probably half the width.
Okay.
And then, but for length, it's, I don't know, that long.
Wow.
So it's huge, and I actually couldn't fit it horizontally on my shelf because it was so big. So the way my shelf works is kind of the longest shelf is on the bottom, and then a shorter one in the middle, and another long one on the top. I had to put it off to one of those sides, and it barely fits, but it's the only place I can
And it's
put
standing vertically right now?
it. Yeah, I have it on the stand.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that when I would see it in pictures, and
Mm-hmm.
it's got kind of like the two flares that kind of come up off of it. So when you tried to sit it horizontally, did it kind of lay weird on those flares?
There's this stand that is adjustable where you can either put it vertically on the stand or you put it horizontally and the stand slips underneath it.
Okay.
I tried both and they both work really, really well.
Nice.
But I get why it got like a lot of hate when it was first revealed what it looked like, but in person in an actual setup, it looks so cool.
Yeah, and I've heard the remotes are absolutely insane too.
Yeah.
The white remotes.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Are they any different than like a PS4?
In what regards?
I guess shape.
Yeah,
They are.
It looks a lot like an Xbox controller.
Okay.
It's heavy. It feels super heavy. And at this point, I don't even think you could call it vibration anymore.
Really?
It's so far past that. Because
Wow.
there's this. It came with a free game called Astro's Playroom. I think. Which is supposed to be like the tech demo, but it's like an 8-hour game, and it was super, super fun. I played through that whole thing.
Nice.
But it shows off a lot of cool stuff. Like when it's raining, it feels like it's like raining on your hands.
Oh my
And
God.
It goes through this, like, you roll a ball through this obstacle course, and it goes on like this bumpy road, and it feels like a bumpy road.
That's insane, dude.
Another one of the coolest parts is they call them the adaptive triggers. So most controllers, you squeeze a trigger and it just goes down easily. Or some of them, like the GameCube one, they have more resistance. But what they did is they made the triggers all like digital. So there are times, and I think the best example of this, I haven't played it personally, but I've heard of it a lot, is when you're playing like NBA 2K.
Yeah.
When you're running, you have to hold one of the trigger buttons. And as your player gets more tired, it's harder to push down on the trigger button. And it actually works really, really well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's definitely a big step up, and I'm not disappointed so far.
That's
at
good.
all.
That's good to hear. Because I know like the battle of the two, it just always seems like PlayStation just kind of has the upper hand.
Yeah, with games and stuff.
Yeah,
Usually.
And like it seems like the only thing Xbox has. Poor Xbox, man. Jesus. Because Xbox was what I used to play, and then I made the switch. But Xbox has Halo.
Well, so does PC now.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. And I think that as far as like looks go too, now I think the PS5 is much cool. What is it now? The Xbox.
It's gonna be the Xbox Series X or the Xbox One
Xbox X.
Something with an X in it.
Okay. Because it was the 360.
Yep.
One, and then it was the One.
Yep.
And now it's like the X.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then it was the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series One X, or I don't keep up with that side of the aisle that often.
Is there like a blue undertone in the console of the PS5?
So between the white and the black, there are blue LEDs, but it also changes to white when you're in menus,
lights.
And then it's orange when it's in rest mode.
Wow.
Yeah, so maybe games will utilize it to change different colors, but most of the time it's blue. Yeah.
That's sweet. How about like when you log in? Does it look like the PS4? So when does it have like that blue typical?
No,
that's
it's completely
totally different too.
Yeah.
Man, I need to look some of this stuff up.
Yeah.
Dude. That's exciting.
And I think
this new stuff.
Yeah,
man.
my favorite part is it loads so fast.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's the thing with with my PS4 at least, is it's starting to get slow.
Yeah. Do you have the original one?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we just got it at like GameStop or something used. But yeah, so I actually went from Xbox 360, and my brother was at a baseball tournament, and some dude gave him this PS3 for free with like a bunch of games. And it was in like a PS3 backpack, and I still have the backpack. I gave away the PS3, but I still have the backpack because it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. It had GTA on it, and I made the switch. And then we just stuck to PlayStation ever since. I haven't played it in probably like 2 months, so I don't know if I'll be investing in the PS5. But I do like to play a little bit of video games now and then. And it's just I like to keeping up with the new stuff too, because I remember what they're like the original Xbox. I think it was with Spencer actually. we played like Madden like 2008 or something on it. I think Ray Lewis was on the cover, and just the graphics were horrible, but it was like the funnest thing ever because it was like one of the first consoles I ever got to play on. All right, you want to get through some of these analytics, talk a little bit to our viewers about the viewers?
Yeah, I mean that's something we've never talked about before.
Yeah, I don't even know anything here, so
maybe we could play a little guessing game.
All right, let's do that. Let's do that.
Because some of these surprised me greatly.
Okay.
Now, all of these analytics are from our audio podcast. So this is not YouTube. This is just our audio streamers.
And this is combined through like the 4 or 5 different platforms that we're on?
Yeah, this is all of them. Okay. This is all of them.
And what's that app called? It's
Anchor is what we use to upload all the podcasts.
Not Podbean like I was on with the I can't even think of the name.
The Pine
podcast. Yeah, Jesus. Oh my God, that was the most copyrighted thing I've ever done in my life. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear them.
Geographic location. This is by country. The top one is easy.
It's the U.S.?
It's the U.S.
Okay.
But the surprising thing is there are 5 other countries on here.
Wow.
Yeah. So
international. So
we have one country where we have a consistent listener that has listened to many of the episodes. And I don't think you'll ever guess that country. And I know it's the same person because it's always in the same location.
Okay.
It's not an English-speaking country. Yeah.
Okay, I have no idea what it is.
It's Russia.
There's a Russian listener out there. Shout out to you, my man.
And we've also had listeners in Ireland, New Zealand, France, and the United Kingdom.
Awesome.
Which are not places we advertise to, but that's still pretty cool.
That is. Shout out to all those people who have listened. Gosh, it's cool, man. That's cool.
Now we have a large majority, 84% of our listeners are from Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then 5% from Minnesota and Texas. And we also have had a couple listeners from Virginia, Arkansas, Iowa, Indiana, California, and the District of Columbia.
Wow.
Yeah.
The politicians were listening to our podcast with Carol. Who would have thought? It always circles back to the politicians.
This one actually surprised me. So this is listening platforms.
Okay.
What platform do you typically use to listen to your podcasts?
Yeah, I would say Spotify would be number one there.
Spotify is what I usually use, but 65% from Apple Podcasts.
Okay.
26% from Spotify, 2% from Overcast, and 7% from our various other.
Wow.
Yeah, but that 65% on Apple Podcasts surprised me because that's not what I usually use.
See, I'm glad that we ended up doing Apple because that's a hard one to get on, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah, harder than the other ones.
Yeah. And I see why now because I guess there's probably more people who would prefer to listen to the Apple Podcasts. And that was what I wanted to get on with my Pine podcast. And I'm like, why isn't this going through? Oh, it might be because I have copyrighted music for my intro.
Yeah. And then the only data we have on listening platforms is 62% for iPhone and 38% for other. Which, when I listen to podcasts, it's always on my phone. So
yeah, me too.
That makes sense. This one also surprised me. This is gender.
Okay, so how does it do this? It bases this off of the accounts that have listened. So like when you build your account through Spotify, you specify if you're male or female, and that's how they gather? Okay.
This one surprised me.
Is there more female listeners?
There are more females.
Oh my God.
53%
We need to have more females on here. The people that are listening to the podcast that are females, they need to just hit the line and get on.
So 53% females, 46% males, and 1% non-binary.
Nice.
And the next one is age, which I think surprised me as well.
Okay. I'm going to say for age, let's just say that like...
These age categories are 0 to 17, 18 to 22, 23 to 27, 28 to 34, 35 to 44,
35 to 44. That's what I want to go with like our main chunk of listeners.
That is the chunk that doesn't have a bar on it.
Oh my God.
That's the only one.
Dang it.
So in order, our highest percentage, which they're all kind of close.
Okay.
0 to 17 is the highest one.
Okay.
About 30%. 18 to 22 is the next with about 25%. Then
Nice.
23 to 27. 45 to 59. 60 plus. 28 to 34. And then 35 to 44.
Wow.
Yeah. It jumps all around.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
That
cool.
is. Yeah, wow. I'm speechless there. The analytics don't lie either, man. That's cool.
Yeah. It's cool that we're talking to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that we didn't think we'd be talking to in the first place. I think it's cool where it's a lot of stuff. You know, there's a lot of local listeners, but there's a lot of stuff out of state and out of country.
Shout out to Russia. My boy in Russia. Girl.
I can give you the
or non-binary, because we do have those listeners.
I could give you the town name, but I wouldn't be able to pronounce it.
Oh, so you can get the town name.
Yeah.
So when you see it, does it show it on a map?
I'm sure that's something we could find, but not in that app. No.
Oh, it just says like where they're listening from.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang, dude. Thank you for sharing that with me and the listeners and everybody. I mean, it's just crazy to think. Like I'm glad we've continued to do this, and I'm hoping that we do continue to do this, whether we have to do it virtually or what. Because I think it's just cool to do. Like selfishly for us, I like doing it.
Yeah.
And I think it's fun. But then I feel like we are kind of spreading some light on some different topics here and there, and just got to keep on going with it. And like Jackson and I always say, if you guys ever want to hear anything or want us to do anything or have someone on, just try to reach out to us at Jackson Sandler Entertainment or Sandler Entertainment.
Yep.
Find
all
our
that stuff
Instagrams.
is all that stuff is in the YouTube description too.
So I mean, like always, just we're always open to new ideas and stuff and new people. So
yeah, and we appreciate all of you guys logging on, checking the podcast. No matter where you're from or who you are, we're happy to have you here.